Toronto. Big city, big buildings, big dreams. But if you take a trip east by train or riding down the 401, you arrive in an area where most of those dreamers have their origin stories. Scarborough. Underrated, misunderstood, overlooked, falsely portrayed, misrepresented.
What do you guys like about living on Susan? If you lived on other blocks, what do you like about living here?
Sitting in every block in Toronto, man. Yeah, it's home.
Where I'm from, a lot of people wouldn't look at it as special, but it's special to me. It's Susan. It's one block deep and not that wide.
I haven't lived there for so long, but it's built me to be who I am.
There are a lot of stories of people who are dreamers, believers, and achievers. These are just some of them.
It's gonna be on the news too. Someone's gonna see this.
Your family doesn't have to be people that you're related to. Your friends can be your family. I wouldn't be who I am, doing what I'm doing, if I haven't lived where I lived and saw what I saw. Seeing certain things what ultimately guided my decision to do or not do.
At the end of the day, dog, when it comes down to it, this is where I was raised, this is where I'm at.
3847.
Okay, you guys ready? Come slate me.
You good? You recording?
Yep. I'm not ready yet.
Project Susan, Pablo interview, take one.
What did you enjoy during your time on the block?
I'd say manhunt, hardcore wrestling matches, 50-cent freezies or 25-cent freezies. Because it's old, so it might have been 25 cents when we were copping. I mean, growing up there was hard. It was like bittersweet, I guess, because you have your family, like your extended family that lives in the area, but then the home situation isn't ideal, I guess you would say. It wouldn't be rosy, and once you get home after chilling with your friends or leaving your friend's house, that's when reality would really set in, I guess you would say.
Oh, I put it all in there.
That's for Thor? Thor's lightning that he shoots or something?
It's water!
Hold on, chill.
I need it!
Being a father of two young boys and having a wife and having a family and having our own home, it's just taught me where I just want my kids to start from a lot higher than I started from. And at the same time, one of my, I guess, fears, bringing them up in more of a middle class environment as opposed to below poverty where we grew up, is you wonder, will they be able to build the same relationships? Will they have the same camaraderie with their friends? Because we all came from similar circumstances and we're able to come together because of that. You kind of worry about entitlement when you grow up in a different class and your kids grow up in a different class, but the most important thing for me is their starting off point, where they're starting off compared to where I started off and where we started off, you know? Almost. Bend your legs more. Nice. Bend your legs. Almost. When you're a young man and it's just you and your mom and then you have all younger siblings, you're the man of the house, which kind of robs you of a bit of your childhood at the same time because it makes you so much more aware of things that a kid shouldn't be even thinking about, like bills and food and not having things. When you're kind of like the man of the house, regardless of, you could be 8 or 9 or 10 years old, you're gonna be aware of those things when there's not a man in the house. It's just your mom and she's trying to do all she can.
Yeah, he's the pops though, so that's why, he has to be the more serious one out of the three, bro.
It's weird to live in that dynamic because my kids are getting old enough to ask me where's your dad? My kid asked me that the other day. My older son asked me Daddy, where's your dad? Or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I'm still dealing with that and working through that and trying to figure out all of that, It's weird.
Need 2 black things.
What do you mean?
She says 4. Look, Daddy, look at the instructions.
When I was younger, I mostly wanted to be a father. When I found out what happened, the situation with my father, when I was really young, like 7 years old, it was one of those things where I was like, all right, when I grow up, I want to be a dad. To right the wrong that was done to me, like always picture myself as a little kid being lost, not knowing half of my family where it came from.
I just want to talk a bit about kind of what I'm doing right now, and getting into like the backstory. It's called Project Susan, and Susan is kind of like the hood that I grew up with. And I want to give a big shout out to all the men. Okay. There's always that stigma and that label that like a lot of criminal activity goes on there. Like low income people are inferior to those that live in the suburbs and all that. I just realized that there's so many people in my area that are doing some incredible things, like amazing artists, like my man Brandon right there, all those paintings over there. Shout out to Brandon.
A cousin of mine, he was older, he probably was like 12. He used to look at his toys and draw them, and then I'm like, yo, this is the guy I thought was the coolest guy ever, you know? He would look at his toys and draw. So I wanted to do that, but one day, this guy took some paper, measured how tall he was, rolled out a paper, and drew Earthworm Jim. And that's when I was like, yo, like I want to do that. Like I didn't say that I was 6, but I wanted to draw. Like that's what my earliest influence was like, yo, I want to do that.
I couldn't go to my high school graduation because I was suspended. They said if I come on the premises, there'll be trespassing. Yeah, I used to get suspended a lot. I wasn't stupid in school. Like, I got decent marks. I barely tried. I didn't, but I was just like a disturber, class clown / potty mouth. I used to be a quiet person. I would go places with my friends and, why is your friend so quiet? That was me. I was just in the cut, just doing my thing. It was easy for me to be jokey and to be angry. But to sit and like talk about how I feel and why I felt, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that then. No, hell no. No, I couldn't. I was a different person. If I probably got out more and not just like stayed in like my little bubble and seen different things, I would have probably gained certain skill sets faster, but whatever. I'll put it over here. Load up your brush with some water. And with this, you don't really have to care too much. It's best you don't care too much. I like the drips. The drips are nice. And you could switch up the color, right? So I'll put some of that blue. You don't have to clean your brush. Oh, maybe I need some more red. Flip it. Boy. So yeah, when it dries, you should get something that's kind of like this. Yeah, I love it. It gets my mind off things mostly. Like therapy, I guess, like to relax. Cause I'm a wound up person, bro. Like I feel like I'm on the go all the time. So painting helps me kind of like not think about real world, but at the same time think about real world. I like to do it, I like to get better. So noticing that some tactic or some technique might have been a struggle, practicing, it's always good. I recently put in my brain, like, I'm not leaving my warehouse job to go to do another warehouse job. It's like, I'm gonna be a full-time artist now, so I'm putting it in my brain to treat it like work. You come in, you clock in, even if it's not like to get the whole thing finished, a little notes, reference, research is a part of it too. Like, just because it means you're not taking pictures doesn't mean you can't do research. Just do a little something, and like each time that little something will be a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more. Everyone has that problem, just to sit down and get started. But then once you actually start, it's just like bang, 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 bang. You know, we all have that problem.
I have no idea why people look at the hood, look at low-income neighborhoods as like a bad place. So what I really want to do is I want to highlight like the kind of talent that is in the hood.
Okay, so I want to just give you a warm welcome to this event. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting this amazing initiative. I started a series called Project Heartwork. When I started it, it was with the intention to create spaces for Muslim women where we could just be, you know, where we could just exist and support each other and heal. I really want to be able to use art as a medium to transform people and communities and really create a place where people feel like they can be their full selves and they can become their best selves. My name is Timaj Garad. I'm a spoken word artist, performer, writer, arts educator, and creative consultant.
That something would snap and you could grind the entire universe to dust. Well, I want to remind you that dust is what stars are made of.
I always, really try to be present when I'm on stage as much as possible. And I think that it's a very freeing feeling. I often tell people it's where I feel most myself, is when I'm able to be vulnerable and give energy as well as receive some energy, usually through creative mediums that allow me to use my actual voice. As long as I'm speaking and the creativity is flowing, that's how at best I express myself. Actively building community means creating spaces where the folks that you're with, you actually know them and there's some sort of support. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't trust the communities that they belong to or the communities that they've grown up in and that sort of thing, and for good reason.
What I actually learned from the workshop is how you can interpret so differently and so beautifully when you get something inspiring.
The use of space and that analogy and expanding our mind to kind of think about the ways we take up space or the ways our words take up space, particularly in this workshop, was really powerful. I wrote for the first time in a really long time, and so I think that was something really re-energizing, and so thanks so much to the artists for doing that.
My dream is to actually create spaces that are community oriented, create capacity for people to be able to build safe and authentic and caring communities where people feel supported and loved, and that they can just also, it should be kind of like a place of solace and a safe haven.
The fact that we grew up in the hood and we can create a project that has the potential to really impact a whole lot of people. We're all progressive, we're all optimistic, we all want to get things done right now, we all want to impact people for the good. So the fact that at this time we all think alike and we can do something like this, I'm extremely blessed.
Grew up here, it's like family. What else can I say? You guys are my little brothers, basically. I watch out for them, they watch out for me. It's hands-on, they think.
My name is Kotiande. I am an entrepreneur, a business partner with my parents, and I'm a friend to many. I'm very interested in economics, how things go about business. I was 6 when I first opened the store. My mom started with one chair and one phone. And then my dad had to work a full-time job to balance out everything. So it was tremendous sacrifice that they had, but they did it for the future and stuff. So it taught us a lot, me and my siblings, about business. Me starting on my own business while selling spices. My first spice called Pili Pili was something that I wanted to do for a very long time. And given the fact that I see my parents do it at a bigger scale with a store, and you saw hundreds of items, it was something that I really wanted to try and see and feel for myself, because I seen them do it from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I'll take it out.
Today, I make kalalu. I need to make kalalu and the chicken and the fish.
I thank my parents a lot, I really do. They've built a really strong foundation in us
to believe in ourselves and to look at the business world as something that runs the world. They had a vision of to come to a better place, to a better country, to raise your kids so your kids can get a better education than you, and then, you know what I mean, push the family forward.
So, neighborhood, you know, be quiet. I got the chauffeur waiting for me.
Yeah, we're ready.
Growing up in Susan turned me into a better person for many reasons. One, it taught me patience. It taught me how to dream, you know, because living in an apartment, a condensed space, you know, sometimes it can play with your mind and stuff like that. When you actually go and visit other places outside of the hood and stuff like that, you get to witness different vehicles, you know, people are dressed different, people act different. So being exposed to that kind of stuff, you know, it made me want to like understand more of the outside within, and it also pushed me to like do different things, you know.
When you go to daycare, tell all your friends you went to Salasso, okay? Yeah, tell all of them you got your hair done at Salasso.
Growing up somewhere where I saw people that looked like me was really important to me. I didn't realize at the time that like what we were dealing with there was what we would now call like disenfranchisement or marginalization or whatever it was. I wouldn't have traded in the people that I grew up around, but I do wish that we had more comfort in our lives.
You know the hood mentality already, like, oh, he's soft, he left the hood, blah, blah, blah. But the people who are smart and have a mind for their own will be like, you know what? I remember when this guy was on the block doing such and such the other day. Now look at this guy. Now he can just go on easy.
I guess it gave me perspective more than anything, and like to know where I came from and what I've been through, and it makes you a lot more appreciative of things that some people might not be as appreciative of, because I know where I came from. I know how hard it was for us growing up for my mom and my brothers. So to be able to give my family a better life, that's probably what it gave me more than anything, and just being able to appreciate the life that I have and how blessed that I am. And a lot of my friends are, you know.
So yeah, some pieces that I'm working on that I just recently finished, I'll show you guys. I like to hang them up and look at them, and I take in the work I've done on them. So now that my show is coming up, I'm taking it in that it's important for me to log my hours, because it's work. It helps me price my work. It helps me take what I'm doing a lot more serious and put the business aspect on it, right? That's something I'm learning, right? The commerce, the e-commerce and stuff like that. These men are out here killing it with books, killing it with knowledge. You dig what I'm saying? My plan is just to incorporate the two things that don't look like they go together. Fine art and, you know, urban subculture. Things in time were feeding the idea to, like Childish Gambino came out with This Is America. The Drake Pusha T beef with the blackface. The blackface with Prada and Gucci and all that. I was kind of shook after a while when all these things started to happen. I was like, should I even like go through with this?
Yes, sir. All the men that are doing their thing. I love that.
2019, I'm like, want to start off the year nice. Bring my people together, people who I know I can involve with, like the DJs, the photographers, you know what I mean, the film crew, know what I'm saying? I'll get my people involved, support each other, and get my brand out there, get my thing out there.
I feel real good. I'm real happy I got my people with me. I got all my art completed on the wall, and I'm feeling real good. It's a real good accomplishment. It makes me feel good to like see people come and like recognize the places, being able to pinpoint who's who in a painting, even though it's like a cartoon of somebody. Because I mean, a lot of people like from the blocks don't go to art shows, and art is not a thing really, I guess. But art for me was always a thing to focus on. and to better myself. We went to OCAD, I didn't know what it was, and my boy was telling me like, yo, this is an art school. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out and I'm gonna go here at some point. And I was the kind of person that I would never dream to imagine to have gone to university, let alone to draw and paint. I just thought it was always a hobby. It was always something I was just fond of doing. So I'm proud of myself still, real talk, like I'm proud.
Welcome to Susan Street, dog.
Yeah. Susan.
Doing a magnificent piece of work that I think is inspiring to all of us, and I hope in particular inspiring and meaningful to the young people in this neighborhood and from across the city.
My friends are just cool guys. Like, I'm trying to be like them. We all rub off on each other a little bit, so I'm just trying to be like a better person to the people I have around me.
Blood would make you family, but love more than anything makes you family. And if you have love for your brothers and your sisters and their families, like everybody's family, you know?
We kind of think about like success as like where you're gonna be, but it's actually where you're at as long as you're doing something. Maybe you took care of yourself, maybe you made yourself a cup of tea to be able to like get through to the day so you can grind and hustle or whatever to the next thing towards your goal. That's success, like you're living your dream.
I really want my work to inspire kids or adults who have a project or who have an idea that they're currently working on but are scared to put it out there. I really want them to just do it. Don't be scared. You're gonna fall, you're gonna trip. Just don't give up and keep pushing.